to the left of me, one police officer starts walking up to the window with his phone in his hand. So he was still on the phone walking up to the window like he was talking to his boss. And he knocks on the window, says that you're suspected of breaching your conditions. Suspected. And he asks my uncle to get out of the vehicle and have a conversation with him behind. So I immediately know what that means. They're arresting him. I immediately got my phone, started recording, and then one of the police officers says, calls on the radio, does Artur have conditions on him? The answer was yes on the call, and he said, okay, grab him too.
And then I was arrested as well, and the charges are, I was told, breach, just, I guess, in a new, behind the iron curtain in China, you're not allowed to voice your dissatisfaction with the wicked, evil, lying, deceiving, corrupted government official anymore, because that's illegal, unacceptable, and punishable to the fullest of the law. I was handcuffed, arrested for breach, for mischief, and for obstruction, for whatever reason I don't really know. But those are the charges that I am facing. I don't know about my brother David. I don't know what he's facing.
Adam Soos here for Rebel News, and I'm with Nathaniel Pawlowski with an update, a first-hand sort of perspective on what happened with the arrest of your father. Now the third arrest at the hands of police, 2 roadside arrests, one at the airport, seemingly increasingly dramatic fashion, but lots of questions remain for folks out there as to what exactly happened. So can you give us a little bit of a rundown of what the day looked like and the events leading up to the arrest?
Yeah, absolutely. We were at church. It was just a regular Saturday. Mm-hmm. We had church. We actually had Pastor Tobias come in as a guest from Manitoba. Mm-hmm. And then afterwards, we just went home, and then somebody invited us to a peaceful assembly at the health minister, Jason Copping's house. So we decided to attend that. My dad's a pastor, and he wanted to go to both show support and to, keep it peaceful, pray, make sure everything was, legal and stuff like that. So we go to the protest. There was about 50 in attendance, maybe a little more than that. No laws were broken. I heard Jason Kenney made a statement in an email, and he said that he doesn't agree that people should protest at politicians' houses, especially if they're trespassing. Nobody trespassed. We were on the sidewalk and the road. So it was in front of his house. We didn't trespass at all. So we did our little thing for like an hour. We voiced our discontent because these politicians are hiding. We can't even voice our opinions to them. We can't even tell them what they're doing is wrong anymore. They're hiding, right? There's no communication anymore. These politicians, they're immune from the public. And politician also is synonymous with public servant. They're supposed to serve us, and we're supposed to express ourselves. So we went there to do that. And afterwards, the protest was done. There was a helicopter overhead watching us. It was a police helicopter. And then we did our thing. We started to go home, back to our cars. We started walking, and we see one police car roll in, and then about 10 more after, and it was a total of like 15 police cars just like surrounding us. And people are going back to their cars. They start driving away, and they're met by a check stop with 15 police vehicles. So they said it's a routine check stop, but it was a closed neighborhood. So it was like a cul-de-sac closed neighborhood, which doesn't really make sense. Routine check stops don't go to cul-de-sac neighborhoods. So it was all very weird. I speculate that it was just to harass and intimidate us because we were protesting at a politician's house. So we start driving, and they stop us. They say, you have to do a breathalyzer, this and that. And we were the last vehicle, I believe, in the lineup. We were the last ones to leave. And my dad gets out. He starts voicing his discontent with this because it's not a routine check stop. It's clearly to harass and intimidate us. So my dad starts calmly voicing his discontent against the police officers. and the police officer who was talking to the driver, my uncle mentioned that his name was Pawlowski to him, and it was like something clicked in the police officer's head, and we did the breathalyzer. My dad got back in the car. We started driving off. Everything was fine. The cop said, that's all you had to do. That's it. Goodbye. Mm-hmm. So we start driving home, and 5 minutes later, sirens in the background. I saw 2 cop cars stop us from behind. And I immediately said to my uncle, I don't think they're stopping us to give us a ticket. They don't require 2 police cars. Later I found out there was many more than that. So we were watching, and to the left of me, one police officer starts walking up to the window with his phone in his hand. So he was still on the phone walking up to the window like he was talking to his boss. And he knocks on the window, says that you're suspected of breaching your conditions. Suspected. And he asks my uncle to get out of the vehicle and have a conversation with him behind. So I immediately know what that means. They're arresting him. I immediately got my phone, started recording, and then one of the police officers says, calls on the radio, does Artur have conditions on him? The answer was yes on the call, and he said, okay, grab him too. So they were both arrested, and you saw the rest.
Yeah. And so you asked if they knew what the condition breaches were or for anything like that, and did the police really know, or they were just kind of bringing them in?
I don't even know if they knew, but they wouldn't answer me. They said it's he expressed that my dad is an adult, so he should know.
That sounds like sage police advice. I think they as police would know better, but regardless, we do have a quick clip of the call from your dad from jail as well.
Well, when we were attempting to drive home, the check stop was started, and they blocked the whole street and started to stop every car. The pretense that they are checking if people were drinking and driving, so our vehicle was stopped. My brother David was a driver, and he was asked to blow and for them to see if he has been drinking. Of course, a total harassment, intimidation. They've used this as a tactical maneuver to intimidate and to harass people that dared to voice their dissatisfaction with the corrupted, evil government, the Kenny tyrants government in the province of Alberta. And one vehicle after another was tested, checked, and then we were let go. And just 5 minutes later, a number of police vehicles stopped my brother in the middle of the highway, and they said that we are being arrested. First, my brother David was handcuffed and arrested, and then I was arrested as well, and the charges are, I was told, breach, just, I guess, in a new, behind the iron curtain in China, you're not allowed to voice your dissatisfaction with the wicked, evil, lying, deceiving, corrupted government official anymore, because that's illegal, unacceptable, and punishable to the fullest of the law. I was handcuffed, arrested for breach, for mischief, and for obstruction. For whatever reason, I don't really know. But those are the charges that I am facing. I don't know about my brother David. I don't know what he's facing, but I can assume he's facing the same thing. So we are in Spy Hill, arrest processing section here in the city of Calgary, and we're going to be waiting for our lawyers to get a hold of us, and we'll see how the story unfolds. I mean, would you ever imagine that 2022 will start with a totalitarian takeover of the Canadian Nazi Gestapo KGB party for the corrupted politicians? I mean, this is, I think, the saddest part of the whole story, that the police officers are being used as the brown shirts of Adolf Kenny or Joseph Kenny, whatever you want to, choose your tyrant's name, or Mao Zedong Kenny. That's what we're facing right now. You are not allowed to voice your opinion, or else the hammer of the gangsters in uniform, with the biggest chief gangster, the chief of police, Newfield, is going to come down and is going to hit you hard. So that's the update. That's what's happening, and we'll see how everything will unfold. Until then, you can come and protest outside. You can come and support in any way, shape, or form, and of course, you can call those Nazis, tell them how you feel, tell them that this will no longer be tolerated, that in 2022 we will not be subjected to their tyranny, that we will push back and we'll push hard, and we will one day find them accountable for what they are doing to us today. I mean, Nuremberg number 2 is needed, and that's what I'm waiting for, justice, that one day those people will face trials and will be accountable for everything they have been doing, including the chief of police that is being used right now as the mafia boss, sending his uniform masked bandits to take down any opposition in the land. It's a sad day for Canada, sad day, the 1st of January 2022. So God bless you, and I thank you so much for all of your support.
When do you expect your dad is going to be out? Do you have any of that information, and what's the plan coming forward? How's your dad doing?
Well, that's the thing. We don't know how long he's going to be in. That's the thing about it, right? He's arrested indefinitely, and that's their tactics, right? They want to intimidate us, scare us, bully us, because we're dissent, we're political dissent, we're dissidents, and we disagree with what they're doing. So they need to stop us, bully us, scare us, and that's what these tactics are. That's why my dad expresses that they are the Brownchers. They are acting like the SS, because that's the same tactics they used. So we don't know anything. We did get a phone call from prison from my dad and my uncle. They said that neither of them received any sleep. It was the same conditions as last time. They were arrested for 3 days, where they leave the lights on, they're banging, they're not letting them sleep, they don't give them any blankets or anything. So it's a cold. They said, they're on the concrete in the cold and they don't get to sleep. So, but my dad's in good spirits and we'll fight.
Well, and this is like the third time that they're taking someone's purportedly for everyone's health and safety. This time they stuck them in the snow, arrest them, and then they put them into a jail, a prison that we know has COVID outbreaks for the third time. This is clearly beyond upholding and enforcing the law. As you know, as your dad knows, apparently as the police don't know, Sarah Miller did fight for your dad and had an appeal, and most of those conditions that were struck against him in the ridiculous ruling, the sanctions by Justice Germain, were held off until he has a chance to have a proper appeal in court. So this, barring more information, this seems extrajudicial. This feels vindictive and malicious. Is that how your dad feels? Is that what your family's viewing this as well?
Yeah, absolutely. They say that they're doing this for our health, right? Our benefit. And my dad said, when he called from prison, he said, if somebody came in healthy to these prison cells, they're going to come out sick, because that's how brutal the conditions are there. Mm-hmm. So this isn't for anybody's health. This is to silence and oppose anyone who's speaking out against the politicians and what's going on in Canada today. Mm-hmm. It's also, we absolutely believe this is malicious prosecution, malicious policing, because they're treating him differently. They are treating him wrongly.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's absolutely unbelievable. And the Pawlowskis are clearly victims of persecution here, clearly targeted repeatedly, but they aren't alone in their fight. There are thousands of you out there who support Artur, who support this fight for freedom. If you do support Pastor Artur, his legal battles are clearly still ahead of him. Go to saveartur.com now, make a contribution, help the Pawlowskis fight back, help them stand up for their freedoms. Nathaniel, thanks so much for this update. We look forward to speaking with Artur as soon as he's out. Again, as I mentioned, we'll be speaking with Sarah for a legal update tomorrow. For everyone out there, I want to thank you all so much for tuning in. For Rebel News, I'm Adam Soos.
Hello friends, this is Pastor Artur Pawlowski. If you're watching this video right now, that means I am in jail and they successfully arrested me. I don't know what is going to happen to me. I don't know what is happening outside, but I hope that you are still with me and you're willing to support me to get me out of this terrible, hard situation. Please pray for me. Please support if you can. And may God bless you for everything you're doing to help me to get out there and be the light in this dark world.